So, you've already spent a bunch of time producing your video, and now it's time for you to put it out there for all your friends, or the entire town. Actually, the whole globe can watch it. Enjoy and share your video. But to get there, you need to put extra work in setting up your video properly. That's why today we're going to talk about thumbnails. A thumbnail is that still, small, and clickable images that viewers see when they're scrolling down YouTube, and because it acts as the preview for your video, it's extremely relevant that you do it in a way people want to see more of. This is Andreas, a video producer from Wondershare, here to tell us how we can create a thumbnail that gets views.
Hey, hello. So I will say a thumbnail is like being in a buffet. There are so many options for you to pick, but when you need to make that decision, you will go for the one that looks really good, the one that has all the ingredients and the name, and you can even taste the food just by reading the description, or the one that has like a big line of people just waiting to grab that last piece of croissant, or the one that it may not look good, but you already know what it is and you enjoy it.
Now that's a tasty thumbnail.
So if you have a standard, boring, or confusing thumbnail, people won't be interested in clicking on it. So YouTube would consider it as irrelevant. And this is because one of the most important ranking factors in YouTube's algorithm is the click-through rate.
Okay, so just to understand better, click-through rate is how often viewers watched a video after seeing its thumbnail. So for example, if 1,000 people saw your thumbnail and 40 of those people clicked on it, you'll have a click-through rate of 4%.
That is exactly what it is and why you need to put a lot of thought in your thumbnails.
Got it. So what would you recommend to build a thumbnail that gets views?
There is a lot of good information out there about how to create a perfect thumbnail, and here at Wondershare we got a lot of information for different YouTubers that are performing really well in the platform, and it all comes down to 5 main tips. Number 1, your thumbnail must tell a single idea. So you want your viewers to understand right away what your thumbnail is trying to say and what your video is about. No matter how you design the thumbnail, it needs to communicate the key message of your video. So the worst thing that could happen is having the attention of your viewers for 2 seconds and then being confused about what your video is about.
Oh, okay. So stay away from confusing and try and tell one idea at a time. This is great. What else?
Number 2, think about the size. Yes, you have to consider the size of the thumbnails. They are usually pretty small but pretty powerful, and for this reason you want to use the space in the best way possible, so don't waste it.
Oh, okay, so I can add the background, title, spaceship on the left side, and explosion, screaming faces, and... Wait, that's not what you mean, is it?
No, it's not. So what is right is when designing the thumbnail, think about all these empty spaces and see if they cause distraction or maybe they don't add anything to the key message. So move those elements around so everything looks good when it is scaled down to the size of a thumbnail. So this one's pretty similar to the previous tip, and it is that you don't want to have elements that causes distraction to the viewers, especially the background. No matter what your video is about, trying to find a way so this element doesn't cause distraction. So if it is a background, maybe you can blur it, or maybe you can replace it for a solid color or something like this.
Oh, this is great. Okay, so if my video is about a location that looks actually chaotic, instead of having this image, I can blur it out, for example, and add my title up front. Nice.
That is a very good example. That actually leads us to the 4th tip. Number 4, what's in focus. So the previous tip, we were talking about how you need to avoid those elements that can cause confusion, and for this one it's quite the opposite. It's to define those elements that you want to be in focus. For this you can use words, faces, maybe objects, or a combination of 2 of them, but don't overdo it. So if you're using words, try to use simple phrases, even short phrases will be good. And also try to avoid like the right area of the thumbnail, as YouTube may add an overlay with the length of your video, and this can cause distraction and cover the message. Also avoid fancy fonts, as they may be really hard to read because of the size of the thumbnail. And yeah, you never go wrong with bold fonts, so just go for it. And it's known that using faces gives you much better results, as it is much easier for us to connect with other people's eyes. So also bringing emotions is a game changer, as they will intrigue us more about the content of the video. So the next time that you're using faces and you want to bring some emotions, just keep this in mind. Happiness, sadness, surprise, fear, disgust, and anger.
Oh, this is sick. I'm taking notes and I'll save this video for future references, but we still have one recommendation left. Tell us, please.
So the last tip is brand consistency. Once you start uploading videos and then your community start growing, you want them to know that one video is yours. So your face in the long term can be used as a brand consistency element, but if you're in an early stage of your channel, maybe your logo, maybe your template, or even a color.
Thanks so much, Andreas, for sharing. Also, bonus tip here. If you create 2 or 3 different thumbnails per video and your video is not performing so well, you can switch it. That way you can start understanding your followers' behavior. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow us for more. We'll see you next time.